Greetings, and welcome to the second informational broadcast covering a number of key points surrounding the situation on your planet, and how these might affect the ongoing evacuation program. Today, we will explain Shadow City, the Shadow Folk and the circumstances that led to the city being relocated from its original world to the planet origin. Shadow City has been the source of some consternation, and today we hope to ease some of those concerns by showing you that we are more alike than you might expect. We, too, seek to survive. To understand the origins of the city, one must first understand the origins of its people, and the entities that brought them into being. 1,000,000 years ago, a race of beings known as the Var were at the height of their civilization. These beings, great in intelligence and power, sought to create wonders in the universes in which they resided, and to that end they created two races to help them. The closest translation of the names gives them the titles the Coordinators and the Manipulators. Manipulators are beings much like you humans, and are what Shadow Folk are referring to when they speak of Tall Ones. Their purpose was to perform more simple, basic tasks, such as logistics and basic bulk construction. Coordinators are slightly smaller, lighter in build, and possess more elevated mental capabilities, enabling them to carry out more detailed, smaller-scale constructions. Together, these races constructed planets, moved stars, and reconfigured regions of reality according to the desires of the Var. However, the Var had one obstacle they still could not overcome: their impending extinction, a result of an eons-long inability to reproduce. Experiments in creating new bodies, capable of reproducing, were carried out, resulting in the Jaralai, creatures that turned against their creators and hastened their extinction. Changing the parameters of the experiment, the Var tried again, creating the Nilan, an army of energy-based beings used to battle and eventually defeat the Jaralai, sealing what remained of them away in a subdimensional void space. The Var became extinct shortly after, leaving the Coordinators and the Manipulators without masters and without purpose. In time, pockets of these isolated races flourished or died out, leaving only small traces of the Var Empire in their wake. It was on the planet Yafornis that such a pocket civilization endured, leading to the creation of Shadow City, and its Tall One counterpart, the City of Walls. At an unknown point in their shared history, the Shadow Folk and the Tall Ones became enemies. Shadow City became more advanced than the City of Walls, and from time to time, Tall Ones would attempt to enter Shadow City and try to steal their technology and secrets, but this would end due to the intervention of a third race, beings native to Yafornis known as the Drakbrud. Using a piece of recovered Var technology, a reality focus manipulator, the Drakbrud attempted to assert dominance over the Shadow Folk and Tall Ones, destroying the City of Walls in the process. The Drakbrud were, however, defeated by Shadow City, and the surviving Tall Ones, numbering only a few thousand, were allowed to take up residence in the shelter of Shadow City's perimeter wall. In the years that followed, Shadow City began to reach out into space, developing space travel for the first time. It was during this time that outside influences were detected, a telepathic imperative from an unknown source that was guiding the Shadow Folk out into the stars, with the intention of securing its release from imprisonment. Alerted to the danger of this being, designated the Watcher Beyond, Shadow City space travelers employed a reality denial device on reaching the source of the interference, neutralizing the entity in question. Additional Var records stored within the construction array have recently been accessed, and they have revealed that the Watcher Beyond was in fact a juvenile Jaralai, trapped in a shallow layer of interphasic undertow. This action was not without side effects. Use of such a weapon caused a weakening of the fabric of space, allowing the formation of an interdimensional rift. This spatial weakness allowed the Orthiphus to transit into Yafornis's reality, and the same rift was subsequently used to expel the Orthiphus, ultimately leading to that machine entity's arrival in the vicinity of origin, where it was finally disabled. This process caused the rift to become unstable, sending it on a collision course with Yafornis's sun. Learning of this threat, the Shadow Folk commenced an ambitious plan to save their civilization, converting their city into a self-contained dimensional lifeboat, surrounded by powerful force fields derived from Var technology found under the city. its foundations excavated, and special support structures put in their place, the city was able to float free as the approaching rift caused gravitational anomalies, and starships were used to steer the city through the rift to origin. Again using the VAR technology, Shadow City was able to make a safe landing on origin, in the uncompleted Pacific Ocean region. The force shields were then employed to protect the city from encroaching water, following the malfunction of the planetary construction array and the deactivation of that mechanism's perimeter containment fields. Following a brief period of hostility that resulted from the environmental upheavals, Shadow City attempted to carry out operations to undo as much of the damage as possible, but these were unfortunately interrupted by the conflict with the Dark Children. We hope that you have found this broadcast enlightening, and once again, we invite you to submit questions and requests for clarification, by way of your own planet's data networks. Please direct your questions to central@data.portal.shadow, and look out for a broadcast featuring answers to your queries soon. Once again, we thank you for your attention, and have a safe evacuation.
There is another way. Watch for signs. The path is winding.